Hello and welcome to the St Kilda and Bayside Report. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy Rosens.
You are Jeremy Rosens, and I see you out and about doing so many more auctions these days. Some of the weekends, you're a very busy auctioneer.
Yes, that is the case, Gary. We are we're listing a lot, and there's only a certain amount of people that can do auctions because it's a skill that not everybody has.
Yeah.
And you're one of those very seasoned auctioneers, Gary.
Oh, I thought when you said it's not a skill that everybody has,
No,
and then you certainly called my name
well,
out.
I did
thought
come and see
you
you on the weekend. It's very rare that we get to cross paths
We
on the
do.
weekend.
I came
You were
to
at
see
one
you.
of mine, and I was at one of
Yeah.
yours. And I got to tell you, Gary, you're as good an auctioneer as I've seen.
Oh, that's very kind of you, and I'm glad
You're
that you
waiting
haven't seen
for
many
some
yet.
sting in the tail.
I'm glad
but
that you
there
haven't
is no-
seen
no,
many
no.
yet. Yeah, well,
I think
must
you're
say,
actually a very good auctioneer.
You know, I'm part of the Mutual Appreciation Society because I also saw you do that great auction in Garden Street
Yep.
in Elstwick. Now that was an amazing result, wasn't it? How many bidders were for that?
We had 5 in the end,
Yeah,
which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it is a bit of a tale of where the market is heading, it feels. We've just had
Yeah.
a couple of weekends where, and you brought it up this morning, that some weekends we're flying and then it's a bit slower and then it's back up. So there is, I think when it's patchy, but there's positiveness within the patchiness, probably makes me feel like spring could be a good spring this year.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
buoyant about this
Based
market.
on last weekend, you'd have to say it feels that way.
Yeah.
It was a very strong weekend. We had a few results and a number from your office, a number that you were involved with, and Nikki Jano was involved with, that really sold for way more than we expected, way more than the vendors expected. So I think buyers are kind of getting a lot more confident, and I think they're a lot more willing to commit. We saw a lot of people looking, thinking, jockeying for position. Now they're actually on their mounts and they're going for it. So
I think the
it's
message
been-
is to buyers that, I don't know if buyers watch this show, I presume they do, but I think if you're going to wait for something, then all you are going to wait for with interest rates coming down is more people to jump in
and compete.
And that all we know what happens then as interest rates come down, prices go up. So I would be getting in as quickly as you can. If there's things that are in the market that you like, jump on them.
And you can afford them, absolutely, indeed. Now, we're very fortunate because our football club, the Carlton Football Club...
They've given us September off, Gary.
They've given us a whole month off. So we've got to say thank you because, we are very passionate. We like to support you, but, it is a bit of a clash of seasons because we're getting to the busy real estate season, so we no longer have to worry about what's going on in the AFL. What I would like to do
I'm glad that's what we're going to say.
We've got that out of the way, I think. Did we do okay with that? Yeah, I think we've got that.
We have to move on.
Yeah,
very
we have
quickly.
to. Can we move on from that?
Absolutely.
Sure. We're not going to cry openly
No, not
on
openly.
screen. No, good. Okay, let's talk about some of the properties that have been sold because there's been some ripping properties. Now, it's always interesting to sell where you've lived. And you've lived in a block at 227
I
Elmer
have.
Road.
It was the first apartment I ever bought, Gary. I was a single lad, although I left there on the cusp of marriage, so there's fertile ground there at Elmer Road. We actually have, it's 227 Elmer Road, and Limor actually listed apartment 3, which we sold off market. Number 1, which was my old apartment, which has since been sold several times, so there's no need for the gags about the fumigation and the pulling out of cupboards to make sure that everything...
The White King and all that.
Running the blue light over,
Exactly
all
right.
you don't need to worry about any of that. It's
enough.
clearly been fixed.
Yeah.
We sold that off market.
Mind you, it's been sold a few times. So, I think it's not really about removing those gags because I think there's people that bought there unwillingly. The past of that apartment wasn't revealed. I wonder whether it needed to be legally.
So you're suggesting...
I think people found out there were strange knocks on the door, strange things came out of that apartment, I think the ghost of Jeremy Rosens has stayed there, which is why people have been buying but also selling after a short time.
So you're suggesting that since I've owned it and it's been sold several times, it has a high turnover rate based on my
I think it's
being
possible.
the previous
I
owner.
I think we need to get somebody. You know the people that exercise. I think we need someone to come in
with the holy water to splash.
And exercise that apartment because what went on in that
that.
apartment was too gross for late time telly for our ratings. Anyway. Let's just talk about the sales.
Not a lot happened, but that was sold in excess of 800,000, and really, to me, shows the strength of our database. That in a block of, I can't remember, I think there may have been 6 in that block. That 2 have been sold without people needing to go to the market.
Because we were able to just plug a buyer. Is that what you're saying? Yeah,
correct.
Good,
so we have buyers that are walking around on our books that we were able to place for that property. Nice little plug for our off-market opportunities out there, by the way.
Anyway, the range was in the 7s, but it went into the 8s. It's undisclosed, but off it went. Another apartment in Elmer Road, 11218 Elmer Road. That was also sold a little over its range. We're expecting high 5s, low 6s, and again, it was sold.
Pushed it into the mid to high 6s.
Yeah, it was. Now, Security Road, Security Road and Queens Road, it's interesting because there's a lot of agents that seem to be servicing and selling properties there, but every time we go there, we always do well. And we have fun there, don't we?
We've always had success on, I like to call it St Kilda Boulevard, Gary, because it is a boulevard. And I'm not sure the reason why, other than the fact that I think our processes work well with that sort of area, but it's a great part of town. There's a lot of amenity close by, so there's no reason why we couldn't have success there, Gary.
Now, we're talking about the property with the Porsche, with the car, which is at this stage unsold, but still
available,
for sale.
Gary.
Available.
And car of course, is still available, although I'm putting Ks on it by the day.
As we're talking about it, we've got the footage overlay showing you, and you're on the news, and you're walking around this apartment. You've got the Porsche going up.
Yes.
You've got everything going on there.
I did have an inspection there yesterday, and I am seriously close to a sale.
Good. Well, we want to get that one sold because, I know you're liking all the media attention, and once it's sold, you might not have that anymore.
No.
But in the meantime, that particular apartment is a beautiful apartment, still for sale.
801 K1 Union Street, Gary, in Melbourne.
And you can buy it and settle on it just in time to watch the Grand Prix next year.
Get it which will be also good. Of the week if you want.
There's another one at 209 181 to 185 Security Road. That's a little snap purchase.
Nice little one bedroom. We were supposed to go to the market there, but Morris Bitton, in his infinite fashion, grabbed a buyer that had been looking around at other stuff, plugged them in there, and they bought it.
And he knocked it off.
And he sold it.
He did indeed.
That is correct.
Alston Grove was a popular auction, Jeremy, in East St Kilda. I went along to that.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about that sale.
Can't tell you too much about it, Gary, given that you were there. Why don't you do the honour?
Jeremy, I was lucky enough to go to the auction Alston Grove. That sold for above its range at $1,585,000. Very popular property. So
love that pocket
well
of East
done
St
to
Kilda,
the team
Gary.
there, as do I.
Got the park just behind.
Indeed. And I did an auction in Meadow Street. Now, I did an auction in that block in that garden a few years ago. And
sniffles
somehow
you had,
I got the sniffles, and it was difficult because I forgot to bring a tissue. My nose was running, and I was doing the auction, and you don't want to be doing that. So I went back there this time. I said to the vendors and to Daniel, who was handling Daniel Peer in this case, I said, look, I'd like to do the auction inside, and because I didn't want to give them too much, and the vendors,
you were scared you'd get the sniffles.
Well,
again.
I was a little, and the vendors were like, oh no, it's all about the garden, and they were right. So I did do it in the garden, but this time, lo and behold, I was ready. I had sprays and pumps.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
and I didn't need it. It must have been just something in the air that other day, Jeremy.
You don't strike me as a tissue man, though. I reckon you're a hanky man.
No, I had to get rid of the hanky. Philip got very upset with me. I had the hanky for years, and I actually made a New Year's resolution.
There is something terrible about a hanky.
I loved hankies, and my father always had a hanky, but the Peer tradition of hankies is finished with me.
Right.
My son doesn't have hankies. I don't have hankies. I'm a tissue guy now.
You were doing your bit for the world, Gary.
Anyway, 6 and 8 Meadow Street did sell under competition for $920,000. Well done to the buyer and sellers alike.
There is a sale, Gary, that I do want to talk about, but in the spirit of this show, we normally talk about disclosed and addresses.
Yeah.
This one I can't say a lot about, Gary, because it was a sale that happened, can I say, kind of rough guide on price? In excess of?
You can say that it was sold for almost $6 million.
Okay,
you can say that it was
that.
sold in St Kilda East.
Yep.
You can say that it sold off market, and you can say that we do sell properties off market, and we do respect the confidentiality of buyers and sellers.
Gary, I don't think I need to say anything.
Fair enough. I thought you might have liked to have. Now, the blocks of apartments keep rolling out. And we've had some great success.
Selling them. There's still buyers out there for them.
140 now or something like that.
I think we're well past 140, Gary.
Shirley Grove. Surely that was a good sale.
Can't be serious. Yes, we sold that. That was a beautiful block, fully renovated. Daniel Mickmucker once again got the deal done there. Circa that high $2 to $3 million mark.
Buyer was from?
Block. Buyer was actually from Perth.
We've got those interstate raiders. They're jumping in and they're taking our properties away from us Victorians. Mitford Street, another great sale of a block of apartments, 1 to 6 at 45 Mitford Street.
Also sold to somebody from Sydney, if I'm not mistaken, Gary.
And another block, which we'll put up on the screen there in Chomley Street, around a great address, sold to a buyer from?
Perth, Gary.
Wow, there you go. So if you're wanting to sell to someone from interstate, or you're wanting to sell
Not sure what's happening in Perth.
We can help you.
Mining boom.
There must be a bit of a mining boom going on. It's all happening there. I think they weren't as affected as we were from the pandemic, Jeremy.
They didn't have a pandemic. When we talk about a pandemic, they've got no idea what we're talking about.
So while we were shuddering inside and scared for our curfews and hiding in the park and wearing our masks, they were out having dinner and restauranting and enjoying their life, and now they're buying properties as a result of it. There you go.
People at Perth. Gary, we need to move quickly here because one thing that we've have noticed is these shows go on for
Yes,
way
we ramble.
too long.
Yeah, we ramble.
Notice we
Okay.
haven't made fun of each other today because
Not
that
much.
takes too long.
It does.
Let's talk about some offerings, Gary. This weekend we have an absolute ripper in Rockbrook Road. I
Yep.
think it could be one of the bumper auctions of the week
Yeah,
that
it
we're
will
going
be.
to have.
It's, from the moment we opened that up, Jim, we just had a lot of people coming through.
You know
a lot
why?
of people. Well, it's affordable.
Double
it's
fronted.
renovatable. It's
Cul-de-sac
improvable.
street.
Nice street.
Next to Shops and Transport in East St Kilda.
Yep.
With a price tag of 1 to 1.1. That is a recipe for a great property, in my
It
opinion.
is, and we thought that our guide on price was very reasonable, very realistic,
think
but
it's
it looks
fair.
like it's been very popular in
Yes.
that range. So suffice to say, it wouldn't be ridiculous to expect it to run beyond. But again, that will be a matter of the market to decide, Jeremy.
Now, Gary, I'm not sure who's doing the auction, but I'm pretty sure you'll be there because it's going to be on Sunday and it's going to be nice and late in the day at 2:30. Hope it doesn't interrupt with any of your any of your race meetings.
It does.
It
That's
does,
okay.
but that's
Yeah.
okay. It's 31st of August, 2:30. Get there. Great opportunity there as well. Speaking of great opportunities, Gary, we've got a number of great apartments coming up in East St Kilda, and our theme of great apartments is alive
Yes.
and well. This is a high-end sort of apartment here, good size. 2 bedrooms, big open plan lounge, dining, 2 bed, 1 bath, 1 car. 650 to 700 is the range. That goes to auction this weekend. Izzy Anstey and Lior Samuel from our Carnegie office. Once again, Carnegie. St Kilda working in combination there. That'll be a good snap purchase, as we
Great
say.
spot lounge down road. Let's keep going.
I love a mid-century home, Gary.
As do I.
And nobody loves mid-century more than you because you are still living in the mid-centuries.
It's a happy time.
Yep. Well, this one's a classic. 5 at 299 Orong Road. I have the pleasure of doing the auction there this weekend, which will go to market 12:30. Mark Kirkham and Addie are going to be there on Sunday. That is going to be a great apartment. In fact, we met the gentleman's father yesterday, Gary, at an auction in McGrath Street in Caulfield.
Oh, is that right? Oh, we did indeed. Yes,
too.
indeed we did. And just a little clue there. One of the agents in our office lives in that block. I think they live in that block. So I'll keep that quiet.
I'm not sure whether that'll help or hinder, but I think
sure.
it'll help because he's
so
a
do
good,
I. Yes.
good Samaritan, a good citizen of East St
Indeed.
Kilda.
Let's go to Huntley Road, Elwood. What a great spot.
Well,
that
Gary,
is.
we talked about mid-century. If there's anything that equals, and sometimes in some people's opinion betters mid-century, it is that kind of older style deco.
Yes,
and we've
love
got a
that.
couple of older style rippers. Impressively renovated here on Glen Huntley Road. Apartment 3 at 165. Beautiful 2-bedroom lounge. Updated areas. This is a snap purchase again. 2 bed, 1 bath, 1 car. 6th of September, Gary. That one goes to market at 10:30 a.m. Beautiful older style.
And don't we love apartments with their own garden courtyards? This is a ripper, isn't
How
it?
do you combine perfection, Gary? You get deco, you get East St Kilda, and then you get a courtyard garden. And
Game
this is
over.
basically what 1 at 25 Cardigan Street has. It also has a car space as well, which you can throw into the mix. Huge courtyard garden, Gary, that is almost equisize, if there was such a word, to the apartment itself. That one's going to auction on the 13th of September, and I'm looking forward to doing that one myself.
Absolutely. We bring down the curtain with this final offering, Jeremy, in Hotham Street, this beautiful looking building. Tell us a bit about this apartment. Yeah, it's got it all.
modern, great looking block. Apartment 101 at 140 Hotham Street. I'm doing the auction there this weekend, this Sunday at 1:30. 2 bed and 2 bath, including ensuite bathroom as well. Great terrace and balcony, 1 off-street park. That is a ripper and very modern block there, Gary.
And hot off the press, we've just listed a home in Hotham Street as well. Given Hotham Street you're talking about.
Yes.
It's a very interesting sale, this home. It's a beautiful parcel of land. It's a very big solid house, but it is in a state of disrepair, Jeremy. It needs some updating, needs some
state of
love
disrepair.
and tender care. You know, when I say
think
it's a bit tired.
It's
you
ready
know?
for
Yeah.
someone to give it a little bit of love.
Yeah, it's a bit of an off-market one
Yep.
at the moment, so make sure you jump on the phone, call me or Jeremy, we'll tell you more. That's a big wrap on the St Kilda and Bayside Report. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy. We'll see you next time.